Welcome back to Haunting Travels. Today, I am thrilled to have an award-winning documentary filmmaker and veteran paranormal investigator, Matt Benton, and seasoned paranormal researcher, Joe Vato. Sorry if I said that wrong. Lead audiences into the chilling mystery and evil unearthed. This gripping documentary follows their 7-year investigation into Indiana's infamous Monroe House, uncovering paranormal activity and disturbing ritualistic artifacts buried beneath the property. Known for in-depth historical research and horror-style filmmaking, Matt Benton, and the director of Evil Unearthed and the Harrisville Haunting, The Real Conjuring House, brings cinematic intensity to real-life hauntings. Matt and Joe's skeptical perspectives furthers the credibility of the investigation, creating a balanced yet unnerving exploration into one of the most haunted locations in America. Now streaming on Amazon's Prime Video and other major platforms like Tubi, Evil Unearthed is a must-watch for all paranormal fans. What first drew you to the Monroe House in Indiana, and what made you commit to a 7-year investigation?
Well, I saw some interesting YouTube videos on it. There wasn't as many on it during the time, but there was like a few videos out there that was like, okay, that's pretty interesting of some of the things you're capturing. And then also that house just had a vibe to it. It had that classic haunted house look and vibe to it. And so I was like, this would be a cool place to film at for my first documentary idea, which was called Man versus Paranormal, where I was stuck in the 3 different buildings by myself for 3 days. And so basically that was the first location, was going to be the Monroe House. I was able to finally get access. It took about, I would say, 6 months to get access, because at the time it wasn't open to the public. It was very few teams that were allowed in. And then, so then when I finally got access, we shot the documentary and uncovered a lot more things about the location. And then the more I uncovered, I was like, okay, this place needs to be a documentary, especially after finding the ritualistic object in the crawl space, which is basically, it's on the poster, it's in the trailer and everything. It's the stick figure that we find in there, and it's pretty crazy. And so if we uncover who did it and all that in the documentary, you just have to watch the documentary. It's very interesting at what's been uncovered in there.
It wasn't like it was done on purpose to, like, 10 plus years of footage and things like that to do this documentary. It just happened, and it was perfect the way it all came together. So the original intention wasn't like, hey, let's take 10 years on this and throw something out there. It was more like,
natural.
We have all this footage.
Yeah,
nothing was done with it. So
yeah, I should add so the original documentary was canceled because it wasn't to my filming standards of what I was wanting for my first film. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to cancel this, but I'm going to use the footage I captured from this and use it into a new documentary strictly about the Monroe House. And then we went back and did it properly, I would say, as when it comes to filming it. And this time I brought the whole team involved, and then it turned into, so basically all the years that we collected footage is put in the documentary, and then we do one last big final investigation there with the rest of the team and also Eric Connor.
And how did y'all start to investigate? What drew y'all together as a team?
The Monroe House. I'm just kidding. So it was funny, actually, because I met Helena at the Monroe House and I met Joe at the Monroe House. So it was kind of funny that two of the people that one I married and one I work with were at the Monroe House that brought us together. It was kind of funny.
I'm not the one he married, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You know what's funny is that our 2 images look like red versus blue. Like, how teams, it's like red versus blue is what it looks like on the Zoom call.
Right. I know. I was like, did y'all do that on purpose, or was it
No, it was not. I just like the color red. It's my other than black, it's my second favorite color. So black is my first favorite.
I feel you. I like black and gray, so So can you describe the moment that you discovered the ritualistic artifacts buried beneath the property, and what was going through your minds?
So I knew about some of the artifacts because some of it was already reported, things that were found in there, like there was tied up chicken bones. There was also a bag of hair and a necklace. So this little bag had a necklace and hair in it, and it was wrapped up, and it was in the crawl space. And so it seemed very ritualistic because usually in rituals they use personal items when they're trying to cast something onto a specific individual or hex or something like that. And so that's basically what was found in there. So that was already intriguing on its own. But then I went inside. I was one of the very few people that have ever been inside the crawl space, to where when I say inside the crawl space, I mean before they boarded it up to where you could just have a peephole. It's before that, and because he actually closed it off, Eddie. And so I was able to get access for and then I found this huge stick figure that looked like almost straight out of the Blair Witch Project. I was like, what the hell is this? It was actually a very cool moment because I felt like I was in a movie. I was like, what the hell is this? This is so cool. And so basically, yeah, after that, I was like, this has to be a documentary. So I saved this because I could have just posted this on YouTube because at the time I've been doing YouTube for a long time, but I felt like this deserves to be somewhere bigger than that because this is the first time I ever came across just a ritualistic item in the middle of investigation. So I was like, this has to be its own thing, its own actual documentary. So that's what happened. So,
And did you bring it out? Did you show the owners or anything?
yes, I did. Actually, the owner was with me when we were in the crawl space, and it was funny because he didn't know what it was because he's not a paranormal investigator. He all he does is flip houses, and that's what he did. He was trying to do it to this place. He's trying to flip the house and sell it is what he was trying to do. But he when he was working there, and also the people he was hiring that was working there started having paranormal experiences, and then his guys that he was hiring kept quitting because of these experiences. And then he had his own personal experiences a bit later, and it freaked him out. And so that's why he got the first paranormal team in there, which was Dig Paranormal, to check it out. They investigated for a while. They were uncovering stuff. And then, yeah, so basically they're the ones that kind of like got Eddie to open it up to the public for other paranormal investigators. And so then it was pretty much after it was featured on Paranormal Lockdown, it's kind of when it got like opened up to everywhere. So to everyone, I mean.
And Joe, what did you experience at the Monroe House?
Which time? Because I've been there a lot. Most of the time, quiet, nothing really happens. But I mean, there's those times where you're pretty surprised. So, I had investigated the house with a friend of mine, Eric, who's in the documentary, and I actually had the house for 2 days. Eric was only going to be there for one night. I'm trying to make a long story short here. Anyhow, Eric left. He went to go elsewhere. Now I had the house to myself. Fell asleep on the couch in the living room, and I hear banging sounds. I thought maybe, for a second, maybe it was Eric. Maybe he forgot something. And then I also thought somewhere within that, too, that maybe Eddie came in to do some work on the house, which would have made sense anyways, because Eddie wouldn't do that. He just wouldn't come into a house and start working on something knowing that people are there. So realized it was coming from up over my head, and I went to go up the stairs to see what was going on. By the time I got to the door to go upstairs, it stopped. So checked it out and couldn't find anything. Went to go back downstairs, and out of the corner of my eye, I seen somebody that I had actually recognized, but only the back of that person go into a room. And I'm just like, okay. Now, just before that, though, I smelled this cucumber melon smell, which was really strange. And then I had seen that, and I'm like, did I seriously just see that? Like, because at that point in time, I probably got 30, maybe 45 minutes of sleep. So I thought maybe I was tired or something like that. So I'm like, I don't have any gear on me. If I go in there and something happens, guess what? it's just a story. So I need gear, whatever, something in case. I run downstairs and I was greeted with the smell of like nasty like sewage and stuff like that, which made me sick to my stomach. So I headed outside because it was the closest place that I could go to empty my stomach, and yeah, it was wild. My left eye ended up getting really swollen for I don't know what reason. I went back into the house and it didn't feel right. And this is like in the morning, and it didn't feel right. I'm like, okay, yeah. It felt like something wanted to literally tear me apart. So I had that happen. Geez, what else have I had happen there? With another investigator. Actually, it was the person that I thought I had seen at the house in the basement, and something had said no to me. I asked a question. I don't remember exactly what question it was, but it said no. Another time, it said, "I will kill you." With that same investigator. Let's see. This wasn't shown in the documentary, so I can talk about this. Smelled like wet paint, just concentrated in one spot in the house. And I wasn't the only one who was able to smell that. You go in any different direction, you couldn't smell it. I mean, it was just concentrated in one spot. I believe, Matt, you experienced that too when Eric and I experienced that.
Yeah.
Man, there's been quite a few things that have been experienced in the house, but most of the time it really nothing happens. It's quiet, but when things do happen, it's pretty cool.
And how did the investigations evolve over each year that y'all have been investigating together? And were there any turning points that might have changed your approach in your investigations?
I will say this. Matt and I, we cannot investigate together because nothing happens.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, not like we just can't.
Yeah, and I think I know why. It's because him and I are very calm and minded and with a more skeptical viewpoint. And so I feel like when you have individuals that are either more scared or more excited or believe in a lot more, I guess, I feel like we get more activity with those kind of individuals. When it's just Joe and I, we're basically kind of similar when it comes to the skepticism and also just being like calm-minded about the whole thing. So we're not excited or we're kind of in the middle. So it's like it's more of a like, yeah, we get excited when something crazy happens, but we're not like we've been doing it for so long that becomes like we're desensitized. Is the right word I should say.
Right. Well, we were at the Monroe House with some other people. It happened twice. Something like a rock got thrown, but who knows? We didn't actually see it, but we're like, okay, whatever.
The only reason why I didn't put it in there is because the quality was too bad. Yeah. when I zoomed into it. I was because he does his like he likes to do editing differently. He didn't have the raw footage anymore, so his was like split screen, and I don't like doing that in my editing. So I was trying to zoom into it. It looked horrible. I was like, damn, I can't add this. And also it had his own music and his own text in it too. I was like, yeah. So I just didn't put it in the documentary because of that reason.
I didn't know we were going to even do that anyways.
This is why I always save my footage.
But no, I mean, it was, something happened and we're just like, yeah, whatever. Like, not impressed.
Yeah.
I definitely need to start saving my footage, because I usually just keep mine all on my SIM cards, and I've learned my lesson because I had the best investigation in Charleston, South Carolina, a couple of weekends ago, and it was so good, but all the footage got corrupted, but like 13 minutes of it.
If the video file still has data in it, like it still shows the gigabytes, you can most likely recover it.
I took it to a computer shop and they said it was unrecoverable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was just them,
Yeah, I'm not wanting to work. I deal with people like that.
I don't whatever place you went to, I want to know.
I got involved because of my personal experiences as a child. I was already interested in the paranormal because I've had a lot of weird experiences. Like I used to shout at people all the time when I was little. I like heard my name called one time when I was like laying in bed, and it sounded like someone I knew. That and so it was very weird. I actually got up and see if that person was if she was the one that called me. She said no. So that weirded me out. There's like multiple experiences I had as a child that had me interested in the paranormal. And then also my mother grew up in a haunted house, so she told me all of her stories. So I was always drawn to the paranormal. But it wasn't until the summer of 2011 when I officially decided to become an investigator because I've heard all these stories and everything, but got a response back until that day. I went to Old Washoe Club. I was in the crypt and basically asked the question because some of the people that were there were saying there's a little girl spirit or whatever. I said, if there's a little girl spirit here, can you please move something or make some kind of noise? And then, sure enough, 5 seconds later, a piece of brick was thrown, and that's what got me hooked. And yes, maybe it could have been natural, maybe it just fell from the ceiling, and that's what happened. It was a good coincidence, but it still got me started into it. So it was still an important moment of my life that I actually started to investigate it, and because of that one experience, because it was like very dead on right after I asked, and it got hooked, and then I had a lot more crazier experiences. So after that, after
And
15 years almost, this is actually going to be very soon my 15th year. This summer it will be my 15th year, August.
what do you think was the most unsettling piece of evidence you've captured during the Monroe House investigation?
Well, I think it's in the trailer. You're going to hear it's technically not my evidence, but it was captured by people. Um, they're not YouTubers or anything that did this, so they don't have they didn't even put this stuff out there. Actually, they didn't even put this stuff out there on their own videos or anything. So it adds a little bit of credibility to me when they did this. But there was one person that was possessed there, and this is all caught on audio, and it's in the film. And so it's technically not my evidence, but I feel like that would be the most disturbing part of it, probably, because the other stuff, I just think is cool for the other evidence that was captured, and you see it in the documentary. But it's I just think it was just really cool. But the possession stuff, that was like be more unsettling for certain individuals. So yeah.
Y'all are both known for maintaining a skeptical perspective. How do you balance skepticism with the paranormal evidence you encounter?
So yeah, basically I'm skeptical because of a lot of people just don't know how their equipment works these days. So in the paranormal, and it's a huge problem. Like you still have people that are getting pareidolia and then dust orbs and all that inside their photos. They literally zoom into a photo so much it's all pixelated. And I'm like, look at this face. I'm like, oh my god, dude, you're literally creating your own pareidolia just doing that. And it also mirrors the smudges on mirrors. The people are like, oh, look at this ghost photo, and then it's just smudges.
Or you ever see people who take selfies, right? And they're taking a selfie and there's like something reflective behind them. It could be a piece of glass, whatever. And then they're like, oh, I captured this face, this demonic looking face. It's like, yeah, I hate to break it to you, but that's your face. that's just how it's appearing in that mirror.
Yeah. And people also don't understand the basic science of things. Like, for example, when people use for scrying into mirrors, there is a scientific reason for you seeing hallucinations because you stop moving your eyes. Your eyes are always moving around, and if you stop doing that and just stare straight for a while, you're going to start hallucinating. It could be recreated. Here's the thing about science: it could always be recreated. You could create this yourself. Go do it anywhere. It doesn't even have to be a mirror. You can stare. I did this when I was little at a teddy bear, and it freaked me out when I was little because I would just stare at it and I see it move because I was staring at it too long. So anyone could recreate this. Stare into that skull. You might see it move.
I mean, I definitely understand because I remember when I was younger, I would like stare into the mirror and I would like watch my face deform, but I knew it was just my eyes.
You go look at your dolls and just stare at one of them, and you see it move.
Well, I've captured them on camera moving.
That's cool.
It's just like, even devices, REM pods, apps, things like that. The issue is that there's no way to validate that any kind of communication is going on to begin with, but people continue to use it. And there's a lot of other reasons why devices and even apps will go off and give make its blinky little things and sounds, and apps spit out words. There's a lot of things that are going on that people just don't seem like. You can tell them, but they don't buy into it because we have to be honest. The paranormal is built on belief, right? That's the problem. It's not a problem, but it is a problem kind of thing, because people are looking to reinforce their own bias. So even saying, well, just because this device went off doesn't mean it was a ghost. We got to be able to validate it. Well, this is how I validate it. I asked this question this many times and it went off, or I asked different questions and every question I asked, it went off. But it's like coincidence, right? We still don't know what set it off.
And not just that, there's so many things that set off. I don't even like using EMF for investigating itself. I like using EMF to find for natural causes for things, and get baseline readings of a building, basically. And so because sometimes you get reports of people feeling dizziness and
want to bring up the Warrens home there real quick?
Yeah. Well, it's not out yet. I literally just got the hard drives back.
We don't have to go into too much detail, but we'll just say Matt experienced something.
And so I'm sensitive to EMF. I can feel EMF. And so when I entered a specific room, I was like, man, I'm getting dizzy. There has to be EMF in this room. I was calling it. There's EMF in this room. I know for sure, because it was too constant. It wasn't like something just came over and then went away. It was there the whole time. So I was like, there's EMF in this room. And I know there is. So I went to go get an EMF meter, and sure enough, it was going up to 10 milligauss in the floors. So, so it's like those things are natural phenomena and some people they don't even know it yet. They're just sensitive to EMF and then just getting those feelings.
And then here we're hearing stories about people, not feeling good or whatever it is in that room. But now we have that explanation as to what could possibly be going on. We're not saying 100% that's what's going on, whatever, but that's the likely scenario, is the EMF that people are picking up on.
Yeah, it's a good talent to have, because some people, so I can tell usually when it's natural, but it's also a good tool for, I think, the paranormal too, because sometimes you go into a location and you get these vibes and these feelings. This is just my opinion, obviously it's not fact, but when sometimes that sensitivity of feeling electromagnetic energy a little bit better, just naturally, it kind of helps investigating, I feel like, too, sometimes. It's also belief. Yeah, I do believe that can give it off. Maybe entities can maybe give off EMF, but you don't know where it's coming from. Is the issue. You can't validate it 100% unless you're in like a stone building for like a castle has literally zero. And there's still that issue with cell phones, radio waves. So then you have to be in the middle of the fucking island far off into the ocean.
But even then, there's still going to be some sort of EMF, because EMF is just natural. It comes from the ground.
There's so many things. So it's like it's impossible to verify. Oh, this EMF is paranormal. It's not. You don't know. So that's the issue with it. But I like to use it for baseline readings. For other claims, for feelings and stuff like that. So,
well, I think it's really good to have skepticism. Right after it said flashlight, we got an EVP that says, "What's a flashlight? I didn't ask for that."
That's pretty cool.
Well,
because we even talked about this. What if the entities don't know the objects that we're trying to tell them to use, and because they died in a certain time period. They're like, what's a flashlight? Because they didn't have those, and they had maybe lanterns or candles like back then. You know, never know. So it's like, actually, you would know if you know who it is, but but yeah, it depends on the year they died, and maybe they don't carry on the new information that the world has changed since then. So,
Very good that you have skepticism in your group.
well, I feel like the best place to be is in the middle because there's such thing as being too skeptical, and there's such thing as being too much of a believer. So you try and eliminate as much biasism as possible from both sides. And I feel like that's the best place to be at for a paranormal investigator because then you could go too far on one side and then you have your own confirmation bias or cognitive dissonance is what you call it. And that's a problem on both sides. And so they're going to close themselves off to any possible belief for the full on skeptics, or you're going to have someone that believes in it too much and thinks everything's paranormal, and when it's not.
Right. You have to, when something happens, first off, go ahead and treat it as if it is a paranormal event to see if it will happen again. But you have to look for the logical explanations. I mean, that is really important. And even if you don't find an explanation, it still doesn't mean it's something paranormal. Just you don't have an explanation for it. Maybe somebody else does. But it is so important. Debunking is extremely important. Go to a location and something happens and you figure it out. Well, guess what? You can pass that information on to other investigators, and then they're not wasting their time if they experience that. Like, oh, yeah, we were told about this. Maybe they'll look into it, whatever. But it's helpful. And then it helps us concentrate more on, the paranormal rather than spending time trying to figure out why a freaking door came open or just whatever.
And what is Helena's approach? I know she's not here, but we can still speak about her.
Okay.
How does her empathetic approach complement y'all's skepticisms and viewpoints during investigations?
Well, she kind of feels things in the building sometimes, depending on the location. Like maybe I think she was more sensitive to the locations, like the Monroe House, for example. So I feel like she's just more in tune with emotions than guys are. So because we're just very logical thinkers, is what I like.
Easy. How do you throw that?
No, I'm talking about us two compared to one person, not everyone. I didn't say all women. I just said to her, we're thinking more of the logical side, and she sometimes thinks has more of
well,
the.
You're married to her. I don't have to hear it. So keep going, Matt. I'm kidding.
No, she has logic too. I'm just saying that.
I know. I'm just teasing.
She has the emotion side too. So, and she even says I'm like too cold sometimes. I'm like I always think too logical about everything, and it annoys the crap out of her. So, because it's my first thing I go to is a logical point of view about everything, and sometimes she just wants me to listen.
And this segment, we're going to talk about their marital problem. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, goodness. No.
Like for me, I don't necessarily believe in the whole like empath thing. And there is a reason for that. I actually had seen a psychologist for like a few months because of anxiety. And struggling to be in front of a camera because I could not being in front of a camera. No, it was awful. I've gotten a little better since then, but I actually talked to the psychologist about like paranormal stuff, and he's like, "Oh no," he's like, "I do believe it." He's like, "But I do believe that there are people who claim that they may be empathic or whatever, and they're not. They're just really in tune with their surroundings, so to speak." So it's like it's more of it's more on the lines of, I believe he said, because I don't want to say this wrong, but don't hold me to this, something along the lines where it falls into the category of anxiety and even being bipolar. But there are people who are within the bipolar or anxiety spectrum who are just really in tune and like really good at being observant about people. And so when they say, "Oh, I pick up on people's emotions," kind of, but you're being so observant of a person or what's going on around that you kind of just see that. So in a sense, seeing like, you know, when you watch a movie, for example, you know it's not real, but you're gonna cry, right? Sad movie, you're gonna cry. Almost sort of like the same thing, I guess. But I do believe that women specifically are far more closer to the paranormal than us guys. And I do believe that has a lot to do with emotions, and that's not a negative thing. So, ladies, put your pitchforks away, okay? But I do believe that because women are powerful emotionally, it kind of draws things more to them than us dudes.
So yeah, so you believe in sympathy, not empathy, basically.
Pretty much.
Being sympathetic to others.
Sympathetic.
Yeah. So, but the empathy thing, you don't believe in it. Giving.
Nah, I, you know, it could be a thing, but I mean, I don't know. But we also have to understand too that everybody seems to be a psychic or empathic and things like that. And but you know, you go on Facebook, and I bet you almost everybody who's involved in the paranormal on my friends list will say that they're empathic or psychic in some way, shape, or form.
And how does the dynamic between the three of you enhance your investigations?
Oh, we try to kill each other all the time. It's terrible. No. Matt and I can actually work off of one another in certain scenarios. Like if Matt like tries to like really put like sort of the good guy, bad guy, like cop kind of thing, the good cop, bad cop kind of thing, where Matt might like push, and I'm like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, you know, hey, you know, trying to come, you know, kind of like that. But honestly, Matt and I, if we do investigate with each other, it's going to be boring as hell. Might be funny, but it's going to be boring because nothing's going to happen. So we like.
I think that's interesting is the Warrens, though. Like, maybe it's because of Zach, but there's definitely some interesting things happen.
Yeah, I mean, those things can be explained, but I get what you're saying too, though.
Yeah, I had one huge experience that happened at the Warrens that will be released on the video, but it was a very crazy experience for me. It's pretty cool. I just don't want to give it away. So I'm just going to save it for the video.
What you're talking about, I can't explain because I wasn't there. I only heard
exactly.
it. I'm just talking about what I observed, like myself.
Yeah, they only heard it for the other two because they were away from me when it happened. But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Oh, well, I'm excited to see it.
I would say it's probably the number one experience I've ever had so far.
Oh man, it's got me on my toes. How do you conduct your historical research, and why is that such an important part of your process?
Oh man, because first off, there's a lot of YouTubers out there that just don't do it and they just go by the stories. And so, and if you want to validate any historical claims to the evidence, you have to do the history. And also it helps with investigating too if you want to ask the right questions. So it's very important, and also it gives you a little bit more understanding of the location and what's happened in the past. And sometimes it coincides or correlates with your evidence, depending on what you captured.
So for like, I do a lot of historical research. Not every location I go to. Most of the time, locations are pretty, you know, solid with whatever it is that they're presenting, but there's some locations out there not so much. And that, I'm going to be quick about this. That got me and some other people in trouble. We actually got sued by a location because we dug it. Well, this doesn't include Matt. This me and another person because they didn't like that we were exposing the history that they were presenting, the real history, not the one that they were selling to get people into the location. With that being said, nobody said it wasn't haunted, right? However, the history is inaccurate, and because the history is inaccurate, now you have people running into that place, doing investigations, scared to death, asking questions to people who had absolutely nothing, no ties whatsoever to that location, or asking about events that claim to have happened that actually factually never happened. But that whole thing's over with. We won. They just couldn't. There was just too much. Basically, they just kind of gave up. That's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing got to be careful about too, because there are going to be locations out there that are not going to appreciate going in there and then stripping down their history and putting the correct history out there.
Yeah, it's a problem. There, like I said, it's the YouTubers and there's some location owners that are doing this. So it's I would say it's a big portion of YouTubers that just are there for the entertainment these days. Back in the day, when I was first starting on the paranormal, YouTube was not like how it is now. Now it's more about entertainment over passion. And it used to be more about passion of the paranormal than it is for the entertainment and money and everything and fame. Right. Now it turned into something completely different, and it kind of sucks, to be honest.
I can understand entertain, and trying to be entertaining in your videos. I get that, right? But to boldface make things up and present it as factual, no, that's not cool to do. And then to sensationalize it, use it, like exploit it and things like that. That's kind of a problem that's been going on here with the paranormal on YouTube. I mean, I can't tell you how many times where like I see certain teams go to a location that I've been to. I'm like, when was that ever a thing? Like, I've never heard of that before in my life. And I'll go back to the location and they're like, yeah, no, they lied. We never said that. That never came out of our mouths. And some of them get banned. So like,
it's demons, bro.
It's always yeah. There's one location where a couple of teams went in and they're like, oh, demons. And the location's like, there's no demons here. It was a Civil War spot. Yeah, people died, but they're like, we never said that they were demons. Banned. They're not allowed back to those locations. So, hey, if you see your favorite YouTuber not going back to a location, pretty good chance that they may have been banned from that location.
I've heard that. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that the Sally House was one of the locations where it was said that it was really demonic, but it wasn't.
So funny story. I don't know if you follow any of the debunkers on YouTube, but there was...
I'm not sure if...
There was a couple of debunkers that did go to the Sally House, looked into the history. Now, the history's been looked into before anyways, but... So the original story was that somehow a demonic entity pretending to be a little girl named Sally was in the house. I don't remember how it allegedly got there, but then that story spun out of control. So now you have like a lot of YouTubers going there claiming that they've been scratched, claiming all kinds of crazy stuff happens in the house. And then here you got like debunkers going into the home and nothing happening. And even I've gone to some of these locations with wild stories. I'm like, what happened? And I've gone to these locations a couple of times. Like this is boring. Nothing is happening. Why are people claiming this stuff? It's not the only location. So with the Sally House, you can find the history of the Sally House, the actual history of the Sally House. But really, there's no good reason why the house would be haunted anyways. This is, no, if it was something demonic, then an accidental invite of some kind, maybe, sure. But even then, I don't know. I know a lot of people who went there and said, dude, like,
the thing is, I only do the history of locations that I am making an episode or documentary on. That's it. Because
right.
there's so many locations out there. I don't do the history of every single location until I go do it. So
Well, I mean, I thought about going to the Sally House and looked. I've looked into it a little bit, not too much, but then seeing, having other people go there and then like doing the research and stuff like that. It's helpful to get that information. So I know, when I go there, because I will go there, nothing's going to happen. That's my approach to every location. Nothing's going to happen. And sometimes I get pleasantly surprised.
yeah, then you don't get disappointed.
Can you walk us through your typical investigation? How does it look?
Usually starts with a group chat where I say, nothing's going to happen. Everybody's excited. It's going to be cool. And I'm still like, nothing's going to happen. And we do some planning. Take it away, Matt.
Yeah, basically we just do some planning, and now we got Zachary involved. Now he's making straight up PowerPoints. And so he's like, okay, guys. He's like, death by PowerPoint. He's like, oh my gosh, the military was rubbing off of you.
No, he literally put together a PowerPoint thing saying, okay, so we're going to be here at this time, and then we're going to leave at this time, and it's going to take us this long to travel, which should take us to this place at this time.
Yeah, it literally
it was pretty accurate. It was, maybe a couple minutes off or something like that.
He was actually early on some of them.
Early, yeah.
So we got done in time most of the time. Until like we got to the house. I think there's some things
when it comes to like B-roll and stuff like that, we usually got to be pretty quick. We like grab cameras and just do whatever's kind of like interesting. Because
warrants.
I mean, yeah, because it's not like we have a lot of time there, and if it's a location that we've never been to before, it's like, we're gonna have to wing this one.
Yeah, the Warrens was we only have 4 hours of access to the museum. So you're like, I need to get the B-roll real quick and investigate. So it's like you're like running in there, B-rolling, get the cool shots, and then that took like an hour of our investigating time just getting the B-roll in. And we had to do it twice because we needed to do it the next day too. And it was like a whole thing. So it's like,
or doing B-roll and, hey, is there anybody here with me? Investigating at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
For the first time ever, you're going to see in the Warrens, because I was so busy kind of doing both. For the first time ever, I used my DJI Action 4 camera, which is it's not Action, sorry. DJI Ronin 4D camera. And it basically it's a $13,000 full setup for the full thing, not like just the camera, but the full setup that I have was like $13,000. First time I ever used that and investigating was on this investigation, just because the camera was just out. It was convenient. I was in the middle of B-rolling and I just used it for something happens. I use it for investigating. And then another time I was like, oh, this is a cool shot. And it's the only camera I have right now other than my helmet cam. And like, you know what? I'm gonna just keep rolling. And so now I have a lot, like I used a terabyte of footage just because by the way, cinema cameras have a lot of memory being used because like an hour 30 minutes is a terabyte on a cinema camera. So it's insane.
Usually if we do end up using like a cinema camera for which gonna have to do anyways, gonna put it on the lowest settings. As long as it looks good, that's fine. But for B-roll footage, interviewing and stuff like that, then they all out on the quality. So, filming an investigation in full blown high quality like the Max, it's expensive on storage.
Yeah, I have around almost 50 terabytes of storage. And it's and I still need more. So it's like the cinema cameras use a lot. So Like after you go to cinema, it's another level when it comes to storage. You're like, God, man, spending so much money on storage. I just bought
Yeah.
another 8 terabyte hard drive just recently.
Yeah. If you think the camera's expensive, wait until you realize you need more storage.
Yeah, especially since I like to save everything for specifically if I want to use it for a documentary. So that's why I save it. Even when the episode is done, I like to keep the raw footage just in case if I ever talk about something in a documentary. And so I feel like most documentary filmmakers do that, but just keep all the storage and also back up your storage because I've made that mistake before of not backing up the storage. Hard drive fails. Actually, this has happened twice now. Hard drive fails.
Google Drive.
One of them wasn't my fault. It was because Justin deleted the drive footage, so I thought I had it back up, but then Justin deleted the Monroe House stuff, so I didn't have it anymore. And so one of my other hard drive crashed. So yeah, but the first time it was my fault, which was this footage. It's all my old videos from Soul Seeker days, which I was doing a long time ago, and all that raw footage is gone now, which just sucks because of this one drive. Basically, I was on my bed on my laptop doing some reviewing and I moved around for a moment and then the drive fell off my counter and then it while it was running, so it scratched the disc. So I was like, no. All the footage gone and all the footage from my Randolph County Infirmary investigation because I was also did Randolph County Infirmary by myself for 3 days. All that footage was gone and I caught a couple good things from there. I'll just say it now because it's never coming out. But basically, one of them was like I was in the building by myself, and all of a sudden you hear the loudest bang ever. It's like super loud bang. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" and it's on video, but it's gone now. So I'm saving that drive though, just in case like one day there's like some liquid technology that like I don't know repairs it or whatever. In like 50 years from now, I'm like, "Hey, I had the footage." I'm like when I was like 18 well at that time I was like 20 or 21 years old, but yeah. I'll be like, I have the footage from so long ago. Those are
So
your days was even younger though. I was like 18. So
I'm going to the Warrens' house this year.
oh,
Do
cool.
you have any, do you have anything to say, like a warning or advice?
I would say some good things happen in the basement. And actually, be honest, the house is more active.
The
So
house seems to be more active than
yeah,
the
see,
actual museum.
yeah, from our experience, house seems to be more active than the museum, which most people would be surprised about because
When
all the haunted artifacts are in the museum. But for us, that was our experience.
when we're done recording, we'll give you more info,
Yeah.
or I will.
Yeah.
But go have fun, enjoy
Yes.
it.
Yeah, it's you're if you're not a filmmaker, you're lucky. You just get to experience it all. We had to run around everywhere. We're like, B-roll everything.
Luckily, I have a cameraman, so I get to
Yeah,
just have fun.
that's good.
Um, but just enjoy it. Take it all in because it's going to go by fast. We were there for 2 days, and it went by so fast.
Yeah, it did.
So just take
And
it all in, investigate as much as you can, like take advantage of all the time that you have there.
yeah, so during those 2 days, the first day was with just PRU, which was great. And then the second day is when Zachary brought his family, and that's when it went all to shit. And I was like, oh no, so much contamination. It was like
We had people, we were like in the basement, we are like investigating, we had this loud sound,
and then they
and we
started
heard
watching
something.
him. Okay.
We heard something like, well, what was that? And then all of a sudden, this loud ass, I'm like, they're watching TV.
I'm like, are you kidding me right now? You spent $2,000 for this investigation, and you're watching TV right now. I was like, what? I was like, it's because they weren't investigators. They're just like there to check it out. Basically, it was only the only people that were investigators was Joe, myself, and Zachary, and one of his friends, Steve. They were the only investigators. All the rest were like just family members that just wanted to check it out, and they pitched in because it is expensive. We didn't want to spend 2 nights of how much we spent, so so they pitched in for the second night. So yeah, I guess that's the benefit. It's still good because I got B-roll out of that at least for the second day, so that's good at least. But yeah, it was just a whole problem. So
There's an Italian restaurant that's really good but really expensive. If you want to check that out, the pizza joint. What was it called? Saul's Pizza.
yeah, there's that one. But here's the thing: so I got the most expensive meal I've ever had in my life at that other Italian place. I forgot the name of that Italian place, and it was like it was like 40 something dollars just for the pasta itself, and then I added salmon to it, which I didn't know was going to jump. I thought maybe it'll be a couple dollars more. No, they jumped it like $14-15 more. I was like, this was like a $61 meal. I was like, I was expecting, like, I was going all out already. I thought with 40 something dollars, but damn. And then I put a whole bunch of hot sauce in it to make it taste better.
Did they at least give you a lot of pasta?
It was a okay amount. It's the standard. Like here, it's the standard.
Okay. Visit Ed and Lorraine Warren's gravesite.
Yeah.
When you pull in, it'll be to your right, almost to the back of, or the side back, whatever you want to call it, of the cemetery. Go check that out. That'll definitely bring out a little bit of emotions. And it's only a few minutes away, 2 minutes or something like that away from the Warren's house. So make sure you do that before you go.
Yeah, me and my team said that we were going to bring her some white lilies.
Yep. Cool. You might see what we brought there too. Still there.
Lilies is Helena's favorite flower.
I'm sure they'll be dead, but some sort of revenant will be there. But no, just try to have digital recorders running as long as you can. Just have fun. And like I said, enjoy all your time there that you can. Take advantage of all that time that you have there. Because
it'll go by quick.
It's going to go by quick. And it's one of those once in a lifetime kind of deals too.
Yeah, it is, because a lot of that stuff is going to be gone when it comes to the museum. And it's the original museum. And guess what? The video does not do it justice that you see on YouTube, because there's so many small things there that you notice, like smaller things that you didn't notice before there. And you don't notice at all in the videos, and you keep going in there and you keep finding new things.
I know. I kept there was a straight jacket there. I didn't notice it before. How could I miss that? I'm like, wait, was this here already? I don't remember this.
And then the first time I went in there, I saw this interesting Jesus thing that was in there that like the metal was burnt and everything. It was very interesting looking. I got B-roll of it. And then after Joe's been in there 4 times, like, whoa, look at this thing. I was like, I know, I saw them the first time we were there.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of every time you turn around, it always seems like there's something new that you just miss. It's like, wait,
it makes me jealous of the collection, because I want mine to grow just as big. This is my smaller collection right here. But yeah.
I don't know how many people you're going to have with you. Hopefully, less is more. But ask your questions, stay quiet, listen.
It was also cool to say that I was sleeping in the room where both Ed and Lorraine Warren died.
Oh.
That's where I want to sleep.
It's in there's 2 rooms on the left side. So when you enter, it's all the way in the back, and on the left is Ed Warren's, on the right is the one that's connected to the bathroom is Lorraine Warren's. But at the time, Ed Warren was also staying in that room before he died too. So they both died in that room, apparently. So yeah. And actually we got some experiences there. So just saying, just wait until the video comes out.
Oh, I'm so excited. And everybody has to go and watch. Your work is described as having horror-styled filmmaking. How do you create that cinematic intensity while staying true to the real events?
Okay, so here's the thing. The only sensationalism I do is the sound design. And so I use a lot of, by the way, the hardest thing I think to search for music is horror, because there is so much corny horror stuff out there that's not creepy. It's Halloween like. It People don't know what scary is. I'm like, or no, people don't know what creepy is. I swear to God, it's so hard to find good horror style music, and also a little bit. I like the more modern style too, me personally, and so it took a long time, a lot of searching. It took me so many years of collecting video, and and also paying. I spent over $2,000 in music just for all of this music I kept finding, and I was like, okay, this sounds amazing. This sounds great, and then so it makes it worth it in the end because I've received more than that when it comes to the films now. But it all came back to me from what I put into it. But still, it's expensive to get the right music, and it's really hard to find the right music when it comes to horror. I don't know if you've seen Evil on Earth yet, but that is just an example for that film.
Well, the best music he got was for free, and that was from Crow and I, because we did a song on that.
So it is, yeah, it's at the end of the credits. So watch the whole film from beginning to end because you get all the music. So
How do you decide what footage makes it to the final cut versus what stays
yeah, that's
on the cutting room floor?
that's the tougher part. Because I'm also the kind of individual that just likes to cut to the best things. I don't like a whole bunch of walking around forever, like a lot of the YouTube stuff these days. It seems like a lot of that. I personally find that boring. Maybe it's because I investigate so much that I don't like watching other people investigate. So I just wanted to see the best parts. So just show me it. So
Right.
so I kind of do that for. Well, first off, it's a good thing I do that for our stuff because if I didn't, it would be a 10-hour film. so so I cut to the best parts. And yes, you have to have a little bit of build up for suspense, but not too much to where it gets boring. You know what I mean? It's a hard line to figure out. So it's more about feeling it out basically. I think I did a lot better job on the second film than I did on the first film when it came to the feel and pace of the film. Because our first film was Harrisville Haunting. There's one part of the Harrisville Haunting that I feel like drags, and it's like about the hour and a half, hour or something mark is when it starts to drag, and I'm like, I feel like I fixed that in Evil on Earth. To me, it doesn't drag in Evil on Earth. That's just me personally. Maybe someone else is different, but I never had a comment from anyone else yet that said that the film dragged.
I mean, it was a good thing though that you left that one shot in. You know, my ass, that award-winning ass shot. That's right.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
The timing on that one was, oh God.
Yeah, so there's a funny moment in the Harrisville Haunting that was completely unintentional, but it was funny after it was already there. I noticed like after I already put it there, but I was like, it was kind of funny. I just left it. So basically, we're going upstairs and doing a voiceover part, and I'm like saying, and then basically when we're going upstairs and then we experience something absolutely fascinating, and then it's just showing his ass while walking upstairs.
Now
Oh my
imagine seeing that on the big screen, because I did. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
It was funny. And then yeah, so basically when it came to this next film, I feel like the pacing was definitely better. And I feel like that's gonna change that's gonna be the that's the goal, is to make every film you do better than the last one. So and I really feel like that's what happened. So that's good.
Have either of you ever experienced something during an investigation that truly shook your beliefs or scared you?
Yes. When it comes
Yeah.
to demonic. Yes. So demonic is a lot rarer. And if it's very common, then you're usually in the background that you don't really know about. But this was one of those moments where it wasn't in the background. It just it followed me home and did things, and it was Revenant Acres. So that was like I would say the biggest demonic experience I've ever had. I've had things that followed me home, and also had something happen to me right before the investigation and the day after the investigation. And so it was definitely one of those strange locations. I'm gonna maybe write a book one day, and I will go in depth with that story of what happened and I would say my first legit demonic experience.
For me, quickly, I mean, I like demonic stuff, but Matt's already talked about that. I'll go a little bit of a different route, but I still kind of consider it demonic, anyways. Hales Bar Dam. I've always heard stories about people saying, "Oh, saw a doppelganger, saw a doppelganger," and it's like, I don't want to call anybody a liar, but maybe that's not what they really seen, kind of thing. Maybe they got tricked or something like that. I don't know. So we were walking into Hales Bar Dam, specifically into the tunnels, and there was a guy in front of us. His name was Jeff. He actually ran like the paranormal stuff. He was ahead of us, but he took a beeline to the right into a break room. And Gary and I, we went into the tunnel. And it's just Gary and I, there. Now, I'm not even recording. I thought about hitting record, but the next day we were going to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, and I had to conserve my space on my cards. We're just there kind of setting things up. And out of the corner of my eye, I see something, and I look over, and I'm looking right at it. And it's just Jeff walks by, right? Just walks past both of us, both seen it, whatever. Thought nothing of it. And then everybody else, soon after starts piling in. And they're like, "Whoa, wait a minute. There's somebody, walking down the tunnel." Like, yeah, Jeff went down the tunnel. He just walked by not that long ago, and it's probably him. They're shining lights down there. Like, "Oh, we don't see anybody." We're like, "Well, he just came through." Well, there was another guy named Jeff who was there. And he's like, "No, I'm right here." We're like, "No, not you, the other Jeff." And he's like, "He's standing outside." And then he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" Whatever. And we're like, Gary and I just looked at each other like, that's impossible. Now, Matt's been to Hales Bar Dam. You ain't running down the tunnel, then have to go into one room, into another room, to another room, into the main powerhouse. Then you got to come out of the powerhouse, through a parking lot, back to where we were in 30 seconds. Ain't happening. Just not happening. That changed my mind. I'm like, okay, so I guess doppelgangers, real. It's a thing. Confirmed.
Yeah, in the Harrisville haunting, Eric could have sworn he saw me walking outside without a t-shirt. And I mean, sorry, not without a t-shirt, or without a jacket, and only in a t-shirt. And so I was like, yeah, I never stepped outside with only a t-shirt. I had a jacket on when I got out, and I went back inside at one point. Actually, I didn't even go around the building yet. I don't think. Yeah, I went to go get my camera, basically, is what it was. But I never once just only wearing a t-shirt. I was wearing a jacket in the moment. And so basically he says that I walked outside and was wearing a t-shirt, looking around, and then went back. And that never happened. So he said, so Eric also saw a doppelganger in me, apparently. And it was snowing, by the way. So it'll be, I will say I was out there with only a t-shirt at a different point, but it wasn't like a completely different time. It was like hours apart. But this was during that time. He was specifically, I was not out there with only a t-shirt. So it was very interesting of him seeing that. And then especially with the things that happened to me in the film, and what Jason Emmerich was warning, which he was warning about something happening to me, which I didn't know about, because Joe and Eric would keep it to themselves. I don't know if Billy knew, but Joe and Eric would keep it to themselves the whole time. And then it's very interesting. I recommend just watching the film and make sure you pay attention to what's being said in the chat, because it was happening live when Jason was sending this stuff. and Joe was recording it, and so it's very interesting experience at the Harrisville haunting. And actually, the Harrisville haunting has also changed things for me on how I investigate now. I'm a little bit more spiritual now in the way I investigate, just because of that personal experience I had at the Harrisville farmhouse.
What was it like investigating the real Conjuring house, and how did it compare to the Hollywood version?
So, Hollywood, they do their things to where they over dramatize things. It's a horror film that they're making. They're not making a documentary. So they're just trying to make a scary horror film. But some of the stories, like the possession and everything, apparently happened based off of multiple accounts with Carolyn Perrin. There's also the Ed and Lorraine Warren didn't end up being the heroes of the story like it was in the movie. Actually, Ed Warren was punched and kicked out of the place at one point because
It was after the alleged possession.
Yeah, it was
during
after
the
the possession.
seance.
Yeah, the dad,
Roger.
Roger Perrin, got really pissed and punched him in the face because something happened to her during that. She got possessed, and they did a seance for it too, which was interesting choice. So to conjure this thing with some other medium, and basically after that ordeal happened, they got kicked out, and they were never allowed back for a long time. So.
Um, I mean, I went into it. For me, it was more of a thing where it wasn't scary or anything like that. It was just like, holy crap, Ed and Lorraine Warren were here. Keith and Carl were here. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's another thing. Keith and Carl were the first ones that investigated the place and was
Right.
trying to help out the Perrin family. That was not in the movie at all. They made it seem like they got the Wardens to help out. So, but that's not the case. It was Keith and Carl that were the first.
Right. But I wasn't really expecting anything to happen, to be honest. But I mean, we had some interesting things that did happen, and we went back again, and it was, for the most part, it was really quiet, except one thing did happen, and then I've been like again going back a third time. The house was quiet, but the barn on the property, I don't know what was going on, but it was banging that night.
Yeah, the barn. I wish we investigated for the documentary because the barn was actually active. We were like, "What the hell is going on in the barn?" And yeah,
and I went back again, and it was quiet except for the damn floors, because the floors in that house are loud. Oh my god, you can't like even just a small shift. It's the floors are just screaming.
So the thing that kind of sucks about the Harrisville haunting is it sucks, but also good at the same time. The thing that sucks about it is that it's in a documentary and you put it out there like that. But the good thing is that we were allowing peer review to happen with our stuff to where you could debunk it. That's the good thing. And so I just wish it happened before it was out. You know what I mean? So
Right.
So anyway, like we debunked the rocking chair situation. That was like the biggest piece of evidence for the film. And so and then it was debunked. It's on our YouTube channel. I'm not going to go all into it here. Just watch it on Paranormal Research Unit. You can see the whole process of
Somebody figured it out, ran it, told us about it, ran it by us, and we
sent them the raw footage to verify, and we did. And then he helped out, and then he was able to figure out what happened. And so, okay, cool. So then we put that video out. But here's the problem: you have this one video, this one film that has millions of views, and you have this one small little video that has 600 some views on my end and probably 1,000 something on his end. So it's like, well, no one's seeing that this was debunked, basically. So everyone's thinking like, oh my god, that's paranormal now, and because our YouTube videos don't do as well as it does for the streaming services. So yeah, actually, and also that video blew up on YouTube when I released it on YouTube. So that's why it has 260,000 views. So it's like so it's it kind of annoying that you can't convey it to everyone that watched it. This was debunked, guys. But now a lot of people think it's paranormal. But yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I will say there's one thing I could not debunk that's in the film. And it was after the investigation ended. I was packing up and something happens when I was getting the thing is like there's no camera in that area, it was in the bathroom. That's the only issue. But there's something cool that really does happen. And that one I could not debunk. So there is still something really cool that happened. And you just have to watch the film. I don't want to give it away though. So just watch the film and you'll see that one really cool thing that happened. I just wish it was caught on camera. But no one's gonna put a video camera in the bathroom. That's just weird. Because people were using it, so it wasn't captured in that way. But you did capture my reaction because luckily Joe was recording on a voice recorder, and then I lined it up, which was tough, by the way, lining up with with a DVR camera with no audio, by the way. So I'm literally the way I had to line it up was literally by frame by frame. I'm not even kidding you, frame by frame from my video camera. That when I started recording to go into the bathroom, because right when this happened, I got my camera out and started recording, and I went by my movements of what I was doing with the camera is how I lined up the video and audio, and it was a whole thing. So anyway, the complicated side of video editing without audio from one camera is it's ridiculous. Anyway, so yeah, that was basically an interesting thing that happened. That was really cool. So we got a trade off with it, I guess. We got one thing that was debunked, but one other cool thing that wasn't debunked that we couldn't debunk. So yeah.
What do you think is happening at these locations? Do you think the theories about the nature of the parent?
My personal belief, this is just personal. At the time the Perrin family was there, I think that was a demonic haunt associated around Carolyn Perrin. That's what I think it was. And it has nothing to do with the history of the location itself. And then the location, I should say, because there's not really any confirmed deaths on the property except for one that was at a shed of someone freezing to death outside. That is the only confirmed death on the property, and the rest of them. But here's the thing: there's also the King Philip's War that took place in the States, but we don't know if there's anything that actually took place in that exact area. You know what I mean? It was pretty because a lot of the reported ones are a bit farther away. But reporting wasn't very good back then. We didn't document everything well back then. So there's still a chance, but we don't really know. And so there's I believe it's elemental haunting mostly there right now, at least. I believe it's mostly an elemental haunting and also a conjured haunting in a way to where there's a lot of people believing in the haunt. So they are manifesting it themselves. That's why I think the Bathsheba thing, because there's no actual accurate history of the Bathsheba Sherman storyline. None at all. But if people are capturing Bathsheba like we did, the name, I think that was manifested by people believing in it. So, or an entity using that name for fear now. It's one of those two options.
I believe whatever it is actually just tied to the land itself, not specifically the house. I think Carolyn was just a lighthouse, so to speak. Something that a person seen to be easily attacked in such a way, I guess you could say, something to that effect. Not really the words I want to use. An easy target.
Here's the thing,
because also, the neighbors have reported paranormal things going on in their home. The Bathsheba Sherman thing. So I knew the whole Bathsheba Sherman story was just a bunch of nonsense, anyways. So it sucked that her name got dragged through the mud when she had nothing to do with the house. I mean, she lived far away from the house, anyways. But I think it just has more to do with the land and something intelligent enough to take advantage of certain individuals and then creating a narrative, making people believe that, ooh, Bathsheba Sherman, or,
Killed the baby with a
whatever they
sewing
want.
needle. That's the story.
Yeah.
Basically, they say that Bathsheba Sherman, this is the fake story, by the way, that Bathsheba Sherman killed the baby with a sewing needle and used as a sacrifice to the devil or whatever. So, and that's not what happened. So there's no record of this. And also, she wouldn't be buried in a Baptist cemetery, especially back then, because they took that stuff very seriously. And
or she would have been buried, turned, what direction? I can't remember which direction. Would have been turned a different direction had she been accused of being a witch, because that was a thing too. Like, they would bury people who were like witches or thought that they were witches, except they would bury them the opposite direction of what they would normally bury somebody else. So I think they bury people, I think, to the east, I believe it was, and then, like, for witches or whatever, they would bury them to the west.
yeah, so
Facing the west.
basically, it just seems there's no documentation on this. It was never even in her obituary. Nothing was said in her obituary about that, any of that. And that would, in the war, if everyone thought she was an evil person and a witch, that would have been in the obituary most likely.
Right. And they claim that, they got this information from the Black Book of Burville. I actually have the PDF file of the Black Book of Burville. She is nowhere in there.
Did you uncover any evidence there that hasn't been widely discussed?
Well, actually, not for me personally, but I know another person that did, that I thought was very interesting, which was Kendall. He was capturing Native American chants in the woods, and also drums, and that was pretty cool. So
another thing I thought was interesting that he did capture too were the lights in the forest, like these random lights in the forest. Now, I had no idea about this because, their documentary wasn't out at the time. But the second time that we were there, I kept seeing lights in the forest. And it's like, what is that? Like, couldn't figure it out. So when his documentary came out, I'm like, I can verify that. I've seen it for myself. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah,
I think that's very interesting because where I live is a native burial ground. And in my woods at my house, you'll see lights all the time in the woods throughout the night. And you'll think it's like somebody, like, it doesn't look like a flashlight because it's not illuminating, like outwards. It's just like balls. But yeah, it looks so cool. And I think that's really cool. You said it was native and drums, right?
Yeah, so the thing is about that location, like, there was the Wampanoag and Narragansett tribes in that area. And so basically there's a high possibility that there's babies Native American spirits still there. And it was cool because the drums sounded more Native American, what they were capturing. And I could be wrong about the chants, by the way. My memory might be off on that.
I don't remember about I don't remember the chants.
It was just drums then, but they sounded very Native American.
And the drums could have sounded like chants too.
Yeah, and it was cool because here's another editing behind the scenes thing. So I was editing a sequence talking about the what was the name of that war, Joe? My brain's going to break on me.
King Philip's War.
King Philip's War. So basically, I was doing my research on the King Philip's War. So during that, I was like, I wanted to have like some audio, realistic audio of muskets going off and Native Americans war cries and stuff like that, or fighting and everything. And I swear it was so tough to find the actual Native American war cries because there's only songs. Every single time you look for it, it's song related. I'm like, they're not singing songs during battle. so I'm like, okay, I'm not seeing any anywhere. And it took me so long, but I finally found something. And yeah, it was a whole thing. Like, it's all. Here's another thing I want to mention. I do all the editing live for all the documentaries for my YouTube members. So the entire documentary for both films have been recorded and live at the time. So it was about 400 hours of live stream of me just editing the documentaries. So during that, you have to really look for it. But yeah, that was like one of those moments. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so tough finding because I'm the type of person that likes realism, like the it has to be the real thing. And so I was looking everywhere for the proper war cries, and it took a long time. That's all I'm going to say. And in the what how I got that video, there's just one guy that asked this other Native American, what was your war cries in battle, or basically saying, and he started doing it. I clipped that audio. It was very loud in the original audio, so I had to very, you know, make it a lot quieter. But it was he did it, and I was like, oh my god, finally something. So anyway, so it was pretty cool to go through that though at the same time. But yeah, go look up Native American war crimes because you'll see how hard it is to find it.
How has the paranormal investigation field changed since you started?
Like I said earlier, YouTube has changed a lot drastically when it comes to the paranormal. And I think it's for the worse, to be honest. It's for the worse because now it's oversaturated with people that just want to be famous instead of people that are into the paranormal for real and actually passionate about the paranormal. How many of those YouTubers that you're seeing these days that were just YouTubers prior doing something completely different, trying to get big on their channel, and then they decided to do paranormal, and just because they thought it'd be boring. Maybe they are interested in it, but I feel like a lot of them got into it for the wrong reasons, and so and it used to not be like that. And back in 2011, when I first started, it was all people that were just passionate about it and actually cared about the paranormal a lot and wasn't in it for just fame and everything. I can't say that for everyone, but it was a lot less, I should say. And now I think ever since Omar Gosh and Sam and Colby is when everything just switched. That's when everything switched, and that's when it went downhill. So, yeah. So that's my opinion. There's still a lot of people that are entertained by their stuff and everything, but they're not doing proper paranormal research. They're putting false history out there. They're using things that are very highly debunked. All the like a lot of things that are highly debunked, and then they freak out about it when everything goes off. And we talked about the whole EMF thing, and this goes the same thing with REM pods. It's just you don't know what sets them off. You can't 100% confirm it's paranormal, but they act like it's definitely 100% the ghost. And that's another thing. They don't have that skeptical mindset to where they think it's all paranormal anyway. Like, and they also insinuate things also when they like from whatever words an Ovilus says or an app says. Oh my god, don't get me started with the apps. The apps are so bad.
Right.
They're just databases. There were databases that randomly play. Some of them are triggered by EMF, but it's randomized. So you know how many false positives that makes? Because any small little EMF can set it off. Like put your cell phone next to another. Well, put your cell phone next to another cell phone, maybe, and then bam, maybe you'll set it off. And your phone creates EMF too. So imagine how much it goes off just from your phone itself. That's contamination on its own, and it's so many layers of what's that word I'm looking for? I just said it. False positives. So many layers of false positives. It's ridiculous. And so I don't like using apps. I don't like using SLS. I don't like using the catballs. I don't like Ovuluses because they're all false positive devices. I think the best equipment is video and audio. That's best your best equipment, and also have high quality audio, because this is something that in my editing process, this is a perfect learning a learning experience for a lot of people that were watching me edit, is that Eric likes to use a very low quality recorder, a low audio quality recorder. So that is an issue when it comes to listening to it later, because You know how many things sound like whispery sounds with low quality audio? So here's the thing. Our cameras had a little bit better audio, and I was able to cross check from his recording time and cross check the moment he heard something on this voice recorder. And guess what? Someone moves during the moment. Like someone, you hear their clothes moving or something like that. And sure enough, that sounds like a whispery sound on this very low quality voice recorder. So that's an issue with low quality recorders because a lot of pareidolia is just added 10 times fold, tenfold. It is added because of just not getting the information that you're hearing through that bad audio. And then for if you use high quality audio, I pretty much 99% of the time I can already tell what it is because it's high quality audio. So it's like I can tell that's the jacket moving. I could tell that's someone dragging their feet. That is a lot easier to tell in high quality audio compared to a very low quality that makes it sound like a whisper.
Right. So can't really see it, but this is one of the recorders that we use. This is definitely not a toy. It's pretty expensive. And the results are night and day when going from a low quality recorder to something, even better. It does make a difference. You're able to actually, get a better understanding of what you're hearing using a high quality recorder. And they even make good quality recorders for just over $100. I mean, we use this too. Both of these recorders that I just showed here, 32-bit float. Now they got 64-bit float. But I do like the question that you asked about how the paranormal has changed since starting. And I've been doing this a long time. And I'm just like baffled at how it's changed. And this is, mainly my opinion is it's changed more for the worse, I think, than anything else, given all the devices that are being put out there, being promoted as ghost hunting tools.
I think we're going backwards.
And apps and things like that. Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with that. It's a little disheartening because I always thought that we'd come to a point where we would progress a lot further, but instead we're taking a lot of steps backwards.
Yeah. There's like some shows out there like Ghost Hunters and also certain things, Ghost Hunters and PRS for Paranormal State. I thought that we're doing pretty cool things. And then we started, then YouTube happened, like YouTubers started things. And then, oh my God, that's when everything really went downhill. I think Ghost Ventures started it too, going downhill a little bit too, because of the devices they started using.
But it seemed like they started off okay. And then after a while, he went from, oh, this is dust and here's why it's dust, to then, oh, look at these orbs all of a sudden.
And and everything's demons.
Yeah.
Everything's a demon.
Yeah. Critical thinking is,
thrown out the window.
Yeah. Thrown out.
It also really annoys me of how he is today, because when something happens, he knows what they're thinking, the ghosts. He knows what the demons want and doing now. It's not speculation or questioning now. It's just like he knows. It's like he knows. He's all a demon whisperer. Yeah, he's the whisperer of all spirits, I guess. And it's so annoying. Like it used to be about like a group of people, the 3 people that didn't have a camera crew with them, and they were actually, I feel like they were actually afraid of it. And they went into these locations by themselves, locking themselves in and everything, and haven't seen what happens. That I felt like it was more raw and just a better format that they had. Now it's like we need to make it more extreme. They had the full camera crew and everything. They got all the production people in the background. They have. It's now very Hollywoodized with the reenactment stuff and all that. It's like over the top. Everything's demons now, and now he gets possessed all the time or oppressed all the time. And it's like, oh my God, It's like it has to be, everything has to be the most extreme thing ever. For every episode, everything is making everything demonic, and it's like, oh my god, this is a joke now. It became a parody, basically, is my opinion. It feels like a parody now of the paranormals of themselves. So I definitely liked how they were originally, even though the part of it that was unprofessional was like them screaming and running away. But I thought their fear was genuine. I think they were really freaked out about it. But now I feel like they kind of go for it for the camera and everything a bit more now. So
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm sorry. I've investigated a lot of places, been doing this a long time. Fear has gone away. Fear went away a long time ago with me. And to sit here and to think that there are people that are doing this all the time, going all these different
more
places,
than us because they get paid to do it.
right?
Way more than us, and they're still afraid to this level. I'm like, come on.
I'm like, no, there's no way you can still be afraid of this. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but at some point, you're going to get desensitized.
Yeah, like there's, I think it's funny that they've been doing this for how long? 2004 is when they started.
Well,
They did
2000,
their original documentary in 2004, and then
yeah,
2008 is when their documentary came out. So basically, 2004 they're kind of getting into it, and then all the way to 2026. That's longer than me, and they've been doing way more locations than me because they get paid to do it and went to location to location to location, and they're still super afraid of this stuff. I'm like, come on. Like I stopped being afraid probably like actually after Man versus Paranormal is when I stopped fully being afraid. It was House of Wills, Man versus Paranormal when I completely desensitized after that because I did the one thing that would give me a little fear, which is being in an asylum by myself. So it was a little, I was a little creeped out when I was doing that by myself completely. It's a little different when you go do a solo session with people there. It's a different level when there's literally absolutely no one that can come get you. So you're like literally the only one there. Everyone else is like over an hour away that you know. And so it's different. It has a different feeling. That's a different isolation feeling than just going into the building by yourself when they're in like, you know, the break room or whatever. Because they could still come get you if something happens, basically. Uh, so after I did that 4 times, I did that 4 times. Actually, sorry, Higginsport was it was only one day. It wasn't 3 days. It was 3 times for 3 days for both locations, for all those locations, and then Higginsport only one night. And so I was completely desensitized after House of Wills. I was like, wow, this is I'm not afraid of it after doing it 4 times now. And so I was that's when it happened. That's the desensitized. I was fully desensitized at that point. And so it kind of sucks to be honest because I kind of missed the fear, a little bit of fear. So yeah, I don't know. Revenant Acres too, dude. So I thought I didn't know I was going to be there by myself at one point. But when I was already there with a couple of my investigators, they're like, "Oh, we have to go work in the morning, so we can't stay." I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess I'll be here by myself." So, but Revenant Acres is a different thing. Okay, this is like a darker place, and I've had personal experiences there. So I was a bit more on edge there, and I went live to get that feeling out a little bit. I was like, you know what? I want to go live, and it helped a little bit. It helped a little bit going live because you know there's people watching. but
Right. Give you
but
some communication.
but yeah, when you're by your house by yourself in that creepy Revenant Acres, like because there's an energy feel there too, like of dark, like pressure on your chest type energy feel there, and so that was definitely different being by yourself too. I don't think I talked about that really. I think I like kind of kept that to myself about Revenant Acres when I did that one solo session there for one whole night. Uh, I didn't even sleep there. I just decided to go home after my investigation because I was like, yeah, I'm not sleeping in this place. Not by myself. I'm like, no, thank you. Because I knew that place was demonic. So I was like, uh, that was one. I think that's the only place that actually put me on edge was Revenant Acres. The only place.
What
And I don't think
advice?
I don't think I've talked about that much actually about me being on edge at that one, but that one was one of them.
What advice would you give to aspiring paranormal investigators or documentary filmmakers?
I say stick to video and audio. That's going to be your best evidence, okay? And don't go into the gimmicks of the paranormal. Just just don't fall into it, because then you're going to go down that rabbit hole. You're like, okay, this is, you're going to think everything's paranormal now when it's not. It's you're going the wrong path. Don't go to the dark side.
Work for it. Don't
Yeah,
shortcut it.
yeah,
Just
it's
work
basically
for it.
shortcuts. It's basically you want instant gratification of things, and those devices are going to give you that because of all the false positives it does. And I say work for it like video and audio, because it's going to be a lot more rare when something happens, but when it does, it's going to be really cool. It's
It's gonna
like
be more
fishing.
compelling.
Yeah, it's going to be way more compelling too. It's like fishing, but like fishing in a lake with barely anything in it. And one day you're going to get lucky, but um and that's like the reference I like to say about paranormal investigating. But when it comes to the documentary side, I say start practicing with YouTube, because that's what I did. I kept making videos on YouTube for a while, and then I was like, maybe I'm to the point to where I can maybe make a documentary now. And so I tried to do that with Man versus Paranormal, and it still wasn't to my standards, so I scrapped it. And then I kept doing YouTube a bit longer, and then we did the Harrisville Farmhouse, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be my first editing documentary. And then yeah, so it was the most successful thing I've put out so far. Um, Evil on Earth, I don't know yet because it's only been out for 6 months. So, and we haven't got the checks yet, so we don't know 100% of the how well it does. But when it comes to the process, I say start working on, keep making things, and then you're going to get better and better down the line. You're going to start funding into your own equipment, your own cameras, your own better sound,
The right people's very important.
the right people, which is actually, it was funny because the first two films was only Joe and I that were the filmmakers for the first two films. It wasn't until this next one that we're going to be doing where we actually have 7 people now. So that's a lot. 5 in the team and 2 other producers that are coming, that are going to be helping us. I haven't announced this yet, so I'm going to keep it quiet about it right now. But some friends of mine that have a lot of experience in the film industry are going to help out with this third documentary. So that's 7 people. That's a huge difference. Going from 2 to 7, that's awesome. And also, what's really cool is that we're able to keep the budget low for the film itself. So, because you kind of want to have to where here's the thing. You've been doing this so long for free for so many years.
Free shit. Been paying for it.
Yeah, we've been paying for it, not even free, losing money
Right.
for so many years. And then, so now we're kind of at the stage to where finally it's a job. So now we're hoping to like make more than what we spent. You know what I mean? So, and so that's now what's happening with these films. And so that's basically, now it's a job, especially a job. And so, and that was my dream, just having the paranormal as a job. And the best part about it is finding this other avenue of doing it, because I don't have any producers telling me, "Oh yeah, we need you to be more excited. We need you to be more be fake basically. Want you to be more fake." And that's not what I want. I wanted to do it my way. I want to be authentic. And so that's why I like the way how we're doing it, because I don't have any producers telling me what to do for this network or whatever. I get to do it my own way. So, and these distributors allow me to do that. I just give it to them. They like it. Okay, cool. We'll take it. And then bam, they put it out there for us. And it is a lot of work. There's a lot of deliverables you have to do to give them to put it out there. But in the long run, your vision that went out there, and it's not some other person trying to tamper with it.
And what do you hope viewers take away from Evil Unearthed?
I would say that this is the most interesting look for a real location. This is probably one of the more interesting locations for sure when it comes to a haunting because of what was found there. And I really tried to edit it in a horror style. So it's a documentary edited kind of like a horror film. I say kind of because it's, there's not like a whole bunch of jump scares like a horror film or anything like that. But it's edited style is similar to a horror film, and I'm a horror film fan, so it reminisces with me and my style a lot. That's actually part of the reason why I came up with the name Devil's Hour Productions, because it has that creepier vibe to the name, and also a 3:33 a.m. time period has been known in the paranormal field for a very long time. So I was like, I thought that'd be a good name for this company, and so I like editing horror style more than anything. It's just fun to me. It's just really fun to me. So that's why. So I think the film. I hope I like my favorite emotion to give people is the chills, and both films people have told me they have gotten the chills with certain sequences, and I like that a lot. That's my favorite compliment.
I want people to understand that research is important, but also understand too that just going to that location or any location, don't expect the level of activity we were able to get from that location or any location that we ever go to, because we get lucky. And I do believe with this documentary, considering the footage we've had for a long time and what was brought to the house, certain trigger objects, I do believe that we got lucky. That is something that I hope, people understand. Although I don't think we necessarily conveyed that part very well, but hopefully the history part and how important it is to really look into the history. Don't look online at what other people say or anything like that. There are places you can go to.
Yeah, we showed death certificates and everything.
Yeah, on that front.
Yeah.
But I think history research is absolute key, and it can tell you a lot. It might be disappointing, you might be heartbroken, to find that maybe things aren't exactly as being told, but it's important, and it can definitely navigate the investigation in a good way.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing that I think PRU is really about, is just being as authentic as possible. And I think like I said, we edit the films live, edit and review live. So there's no funny business happening. It's completely transparent for you, for all the individuals watching. And also you can request raw footage if you want. After it's out though, not before it's out, because we want to save it for the, for the excitement for people, not like we're going to give them the raw footage and someone makes a video out of it before our video is out. That makes no sense. Right. So after it's out, we're okay with giving the raw footage.
And if people wanted to follow you, where could they follow you at?
Yeah, they give Paranormal Research Unit is the name of the YouTube channel, where it's basically the whole team, and also my editing style and everything. And then I also have Instagram, which is at Real Matt Benton. And then also my X account is at Matt Benton. So,
I mean, I have a YouTube channel, N87 Paranormal. I have Facebook. Just don't. For you, cool, but everybody else, because I get way too many requests. I have no idea who's anymore, and I don't really use Facebook all that much. I hardly even use Instagram.
Instagram's one of my favorite ones. And the thing that I just hate how Instagram has changed, because it used to be about photos and now it's about reels. And I hate that, because I was liking the photo. I liked it when it was more about photos, because then you could post your photography, you could post your cool photos. And now there's no platform out there that's specifically, I mean, that's very large, I should say, that's specifically for photography anymore, because it's about reels again. Like they're trying to be like TikTok and everything, and they're trying to be like now YouTube is copying too. Now they're big about shorts. I'm like, gosh damn it. Like it's annoying. At least YouTube didn't fully get rid of the algorithm for regular YouTube videos, but Instagram did. They got rid of the algorithm for photos and they made it more about the reels. So that's why it really annoys me.
Yeah, I just find it awkward with reels and stuff like that, because I'm not one of those kind of people who are like, I'm gonna show off my tatas to get views. So, yeah, I'm fat and 48, almost 48, I should say. Nobody wants to see that shit. So, just kind of once in a while, Instagram.
Yeah, and I don't even like using TikTok, but I only use it because I know it's a big platform, and it's my least used platform, by the way. But whenever I make shorts, I just post them on there, and then I leave it alone. I literally don't even check my replies really, because I rarely use TikTok. I just post it and go away, because I'm not a big TikTok fan. It's also the easiest place to grow out of all the media platforms. It's like TikTok followers are not the same as YouTube followers. YouTube followers, it's so much harder to get than it is for TikTok followers. TikTok followers are like very easy.
Well, I will have all of your socials that you would like listed down in the description below for anybody who wants to go and check out Matt and Joe. And Matt and Joe, thank you so much for sharing your incredible experiences and insights with us today. Evil Unearthed sounds absolutely chilling, and I can't wait for our listeners to check it out on Amazon Prime Video and Tubi. Your dedication to uncovering the truth behind these hauntings, combined with your unique blend of skepticism, empathy, and cinematic storytelling, truly sets your work apart. Safe travels on your future investigations, and we'd love to have you back to discuss your next project. For everyone listening, make sure to watch Evil Unearthed and follow Matt and Joe's work. Until next time, keep exploring the unknown and stay spooky.